We met on social media. He favorited something, and I was like, who's this guy?
The rest is pretty much history.
Actress Jana Kramer and former NFL player Mike Caussin seem to have it all. The Hollywood couple is all smiles on the red carpet and on social media. Those beaming photos showing their loving and growing family. But behind that public image is a deeply personal battle the couple is now sharing for the first time.
We're not hashtag relationship goals in the way that everything is perfect, because it's not. We've had more downs than, lows than highs, but, we're fighting through those things.
The most daunting of those lows, Mike's struggle with sex addiction.
Yeah, it manifests in different ways for different people. It doesn't come from me wanting to have sex or anything like that. It's me feeling a certain way. And for my entire life, looking back, I just use sex as kind of my escape from that.
Last week on their podcast, Wind Down with Jana Kramer and Mike Caussin, the former Jaguars tight end candidly spoke about the couple's marital troubles.
What we're going to talk about is something pretty deep. I sought treatment for sex addiction at an inpatient treatment facility.
Just over the weekend, Jana, who's known for her roles on One Tree Hill,
Go to work. I'm a sexy fighter pilot bar manager.
and 90210,
Unless that's a problem.
boasting about her husband on Instagram in an emotional post. I'm so proud of his strength and willingness to be a better man for not only his family, but for himself. We caught up with Jana and Mike at iHeartMedia, where they record their podcast, talking to them in their first sit-down interview since opening up about their struggle.
You cheated.
Mm-hmm.
What happened?
Where to start? We're honest with one another and said, we haven't been perfect. Let's be perfect for each other, or try to be. I can make any kind of excuse between me transitioning from the NFL into the quote-unquote normal world, feeling like I lost my identity because I wasn't a football player anymore. I ran to women, I ran to sex. What kind of flourished, what I later found out is an addiction.
How many times did you cheat?
The details like that are something that Jana and I still kind of keep within our partnership and our relationship.
But more than once.
Yes, more than once, yes.
This therapist says you might be a sex addict. Did that sound crazy to you? Because it does sound like an excuse.
No, absolutely, it did. Our worlds were just blowing up. I was going to do whatever it took.
The retired football player revealing he spent 60 days in a residential treatment facility near Nashville and has been in a 12-step program for the nearly 3 years since.
Did you believe that he might have a sex addiction?
I didn't know what sex addiction was. Sex addiction is not a very socially accepted disease. There's so much more shame around sex addiction,
Right.
and I love that he's speaking out about it, because I think people want to understand it more.
Jana and Mike aren't the only stars to publicly battle sex addiction. Charlie Sheen, Tiger Woods, and Russell Brand are just some who have come forward about their own struggles.
Sex addiction is relatively common. It is absolutely not just the high-profile cases you hear about. It can afflict anybody, and it's particularly increasingly common amongst young people.
Dr. Drew Pinsky works with the addicted.
People come to treatment because they have run-ins with the law, their spouse, their employer, and they are brought into treatment, and they can't stop, and they're in pain.
Jana, how did you find out that Micah cheated on you?
I had noticed kind of a shift with him. He, was shorter with me on things, so I looked at some phone bills, and I was just like, I saw a lot of numbers that just didn't add up, and after some research, I found out more things, and I was about to play a show, which was so hard to have to mask that, but we had talked about 20 minutes before the show, and he told me things that I had, that just completely rocked my world, and just like, what? This can't be happening. There's no possible way that this is happening. He's my husband, and we love each other, and we have a daughter, and we have a happy life. It felt like a double life.
While Mike was in rehab, Jana turned to an unlikely place to deal with her emotions, Dancing with the Stars.
In my daughter's eye.
I needed an escape, and it did help me kind of escape the world for a second and just kind of focus on me and my daughter. I didn't have a lot of contact with him. I wasn't ready to talk to him, and when I did have contact, I was very angry.
You wouldn't take his calls, right?
They had to basically disconnect my call because I was screaming at him, and that wasn't healthy for him.
In my daughter's eyes.
even dedicating a dance to her daughter Jolie. Mike admits since leaving rehab, he's had relapses.
What happened?
The big mantra in any 12-step program is progress, not perfection. I'm trying to learn a new way of living that I've never known existed, that I didn't know how to do. I'm trying to ride a bike, all over again without training wheels and just trying to figure it out.
But this week, Mike hit a major milestone.
So you're 1 year sober?
Yes.
What does that mean to you?
For me, it's hard, honestly, to accept, only because there still is so much pain and shame behind my actions that I don't want a kudos. I don't want a pat on the back for behaving the way I should behave, So it's still emotional, but, so I have a hard time.
There's a tremendous amount of stigma associated with sex addiction. For somebody to recover from sex addiction, usually they have to go to a 12-step program and identify as a sex addict. Underneath that is deep shame, and oftentimes people are very reticent to experience that shame.
Jana's also turning to music to help with her healing and to inspire others, recently releasing a song called Beautiful Lies.
I want to explain how this made me feel when I first found out about the affairs and the cheating. For me, everyone's like, well, why do you want to rehash it in song? I'm like, because it's therapy for me. I want people to connect to my music. I want people to feel something. And so I know I'm not the only person out there that has gone through something like this. You got something for me?
Had it, lost it.
Now they're taking their podcast on tour, hoping that face-to-face transparency could help others dealing with their own imperfect love stories.
We want to connect with everyone that we're connecting to on, the Instagram DMs, and we want to be able to just kind of shed how we've made it work.
It's another way for us to connect with people who are interested or people who are already listening to the podcast where, okay, they hear us vulnerable on the podcast, via audio, but we want to get in front of them and show them how we really are.
What is your message then to anyone who is a sex addict or is in a relationship with a sex addict?
I would just say, have grace for yourself, have grace for the addict, and also give it time. If the other person's showing up, give it a chance. I know every single part of him, the good, bad, and the ugly. He knows my good, bad, and ugly, and we've fought for our marriage. I'm glad I showed up to fight for our marriage because I love our family, and I love what we have together.
For Nightline, I'm Marcy Gonzalez in Los Angeles.
Hi everyone, George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.